Okay, so this is the second part of the rest of cycle 10. And this is the Neritic Zone. Before we really talk about the Neritic Zone, let me show you where it is. So, in the Neritic Zone, hold on just a second. Okay, so if this is the continental shelf, okay, and here's the water above it, okay, we talked and said that the subtidal zone is everywhere that's right here, okay, but the Neritic Zone is in the water column located above the continental shelf. So this right here, that is the Neritic. Okay, so this is the water column above the continental shelf. That is where we are talking about right now. Okay, so as soon as this finishes coming up, let's see if this works. Okay, so that's where we're talking about. Okay, so food chains in the Neritic Zone. The food chains in the Neritic Zone, they always start with phytoplankton. And remember, we talked about how there's so much phytoplankton and so much life in this continental shelf / coastal seas area. That is because there's lots and lots of phytoplankton, and because there's lots and lots of nutrients from runoff from land. So lots of phytoplankton because of lots of nutrients. Hold on. Okay, and so from all of the phytoplankton that are able to be supported by the nutrients that are run off from the land, you get tons and tons of zooplankton. And the zooplankton, the majority of them are copepods that you will find in the Neritic Zone, but you'll also have lots and lots of different types of larvae from different benthic animals and also pelagic animals as well, like fish and stuff like that. So you get lots and lots of zooplankton, but the most abundant are the copepods. And then you get different benthic filter feeders that eat the phytoplankton, and you get the fish that eat the zooplankton and the large fish that eat the filter feeders and the smaller fish. And basically there's just a few trophic levels in the Neritic Zone as opposed to the open ocean, because there is just so much phytoplankton and so much food that you don't have to go very far up from the phytoplankton in order to find food. So very few trophic levels as compared to the open sea, which you'll see next cycle. So this just shows you kind of the food pyramid of the Neritic Zone, and what you'll notice is that the primary producers on the bottom, okay, look at how little that box is. Typically in a normal food pyramid, trophic pyramid, you'd see the primary producers would be huge on the bottom in order to be able to support the primary, secondary, and tertiary consumers. But because there are so many nutrients in the water in the Neritic Zone, the primary producers can actually reproduce really fast. And so all of these primary consumers are actually eating basically just like the phytoplankton that are created every day. So you've kind of got like a standing stock of phytoplankton, and then you've got other, and they reproduce, and those that are like born, quote unquote, every day are eaten by the primary consumers. And then those can be eaten by secondary and tertiary and quaternary consumers. So you've got a bunch of different creatures that can be supported by what looks like very little phytoplankton. Productivity in the Neritic Zone. In areas of upwelling, where nutrients are brought from the ocean floor up to the surface, that is where you will find the most productive areas. So areas of upwelling. And then you also get the runoff, so you get just tons of nutrients, which means lots of phytoplankton. Other roles of plankton in the coastal seas, you'll see that a lot of animals spend part of their life as plankton, as the zooplankton. And so the plankton in the Neritic Zone, a lot of it are animals, the larval stage of animals. And that's good because having that planktonic larva allows the sessile animals to disperse to different areas. So sea stars and stuff like that will allow, or sea stars, if they have planktonic larvae, it allows the sea star babies to move away from their parents and spread out more. So, and that's it. That's the end of the Neritic Zone. And the end of the information for cycle 10.